Saobona Nikona, welcome everybody to the 8th episode of What's Your Flip. I'm your host, Chris Mercado. For this episode, I am so blessed to have had the privilege of inviting one of the more prominent choral groups in the country, most definitely within the Ateneo, where I've spent a good part of my life. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my guests for today. They are Bukas Palad, and I am joined by Miss Candice Cabutihan-Cipullo, Mr. Ali Figueroa, who's of course also a professor in the Ateneo, and also somebody who would ring a bell, especially if you're in advertising or PR. But again, to me, he's written a lot of the great and wonderful songs that I've grown up with while at school. Joining us also one of the founders of Bukas Palad, Mr. Norman Agatep. Okay, hello. Hi, Candice, Ali, and of course, Norman. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you for indulging me with some moments of your precious time for a few conversations.
Sure, it's our pleasure to be with you today, Chris.
Yeah. So maybe just as a brief background, so I got in touch with Bukas Palad through Candice, who's a good family friend of ours. Well, si Ali, I've known him since I guess college, because you're the elder brother of an old friend of mine, si Alan. So Alan was my grade school classmate and even high school. So and then of course Norman, I know you because of who you are in the advertising and PR world. So but I think I know you really the most because of the wonderful songs that you've come up with, because Ateneo has been a huge part of my life ever since I was a kid. So I've only heard about Norman Agatep through the many songs that I've learned growing up. So there. So thank you very much for your time and for being a part of the show. So anyway, to start things off, maybe this is a question for Norman, for the benefit of the audience who don't know so much about Bukas Palad. Maybe you can give us like a brief background on how Bukas Palad started.
Well, Bukas Palad is essentially a group of young professionals. Sama ba yun, Ali and Candice?
Young pa rin ba? Yes, young pa rin.
Why not, no? Who have come together to sing and pray together, no? To sing the gospel, to sing the word of God. So we essentially write, record, and perform original religious, liturgical, inspirational songs. We have, I guess, Ali, ilan ba? Mga 21 albums, I guess.
Wow!
Since we were founded in 1986. So we actually began as two organizations at the Ateneo de Manila campus. That's the Ateneo Christian Life Community and Ateneo Students Catholic Action. So there were like about 8 or 9 of us at the time. We all were cooped up in the same org room. And during our break time, we would sing together. And then eventually we were asked to sing for the wedding of the sister of one of us, of our group mates. Nice. And after singing for that wedding, we sang all original tunes from Father Munaling Francisco. He was a novice, Jesuit novice at that time. We were eventually invited to record the original music. We would sell the albums via cassette, no? Doon lang sa lobby ng Loyola School of Theology. And then, lo and behold, no, we discovered that people were purchasing the albums. And then we were encouraged to record more. So, nagkaroon ng mga Christmas albums, meditation, more reflective music, more radio-friendly music, whatever the church needed at the time. We would produce albums. Kaya ang dami din. Kasi ang dami pangangailangan din. Musical-wise for the church. Yon. So we're about close to 200 members since 1986, scattered all over the world. And we still find ways to get in touch with each other and to contribute to our ministry.
Nice, nice. And oh, by the way, congratulations on your recent album launch. It was like June, right? That was their last album launch.
Yes,
That
we launched that via Spotify. All tracks produced in the comforts of our homes.
Nice, nice. So congratulations. So I guess, how was that experience for you? I'm sure it wasn't your traditional album launch or even, you know, a show for that matter. So how was that experience for you launching that album?
Pinaka nahirapan dyan sina Alin at si Candice. So we should hear from them. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, to be honest, no, I think it was partly a product of frustration. Everyone expected the lockdown to end after siguro a month or two.
Yes.
And Bukas Palad, di ba, we're live music, we're choral music. We are really hit because, I mean, choirs will be the last, di ba? Choirs and theaters will be the last to recover from this. No? We were very spooked by a story of the super spreader case, for example, in Seattle. I actually have friends in that community. No? And so after weeks and weeks, I guess out of frustration and seeing, I guess, a lot of virtual performances emerge online, it was actually Candice who was one of the proponents of the very first videos. So we just, para, without knowing a lot about it, we just jumped into it. No? And it was pretty interesting for me na the people who ended up charting, I guess, beginning that way into our future was not one of the people who had experience in production, who had experience in creating for media. No? It was teacher Candice, who was not even in Manila, no? All the way in Japan.
Yes, yes.
That is true. Actually, nag-start siya, Chris. Nagpe-prayer meetings kami, parang ganon. Virtual prayer sessions. Kasi nga, parang we needed consolation kasi lahat kami parang shocked. Ano ba to? How are you coping? So one of the things that I guess Bukas Palad did was we opened like Zoom meetings nga na we would have prayer intentions and then we'd talk about our feelings kasi it was something that was really, really new to everybody. And then at the end of this prayer session, parang nag-dare lang ako. Sabi ko, uy, may mga nagre-record na ngayon na virtual. Sabi ko, why don't we try it? Sabi ko, I'm not tech savvy or anything, pero I'm willing to give it a try kung meron sa inyo na gusto mag-record. Akala ko naman mga 10 lang yung sasali, but yes, 59 singers sent me their video. So, ang ganda ng experience. I mean, syempre ngayon, if we look back at In Him Alone, which was the first virtual video we put together, syempre medyo sumasakit ulo ko dahil, hindi pala even yung mga boxes, alam mo yun. So, it was a learning experience. And then from there na, parang it opened so many doors. Parang ang daming na-inspire, ang daming mga choirs na naengganyo na rin na gumawa ng mga versions nila of Bukas Palad music. And I think part of it is the yearning pa rin to sing together and the yearning to reach out to people who are sad and who need comfort, kumbaga kasama sa kanilang prayer kahit na hindi live. Parang para sa kanila, lahat tayo magkakasama dito. Kahit kami na nakikita nyo ng live, gumagawa ng paraan para pwede pa rin tayong kumanta together. So,
I'll add something. No, I like to emphasize this. We were far from being the first. No, in fact, by the time we started production, after In Him Alone naman, but when we started doing the concert seriously, Norman had already found out 60 covers of Bukas Palad songs.
That's right.
Recorded by other choirs very early on. So we were lagging. No, this was not territory that Bukas Palad was first in. And we were happy to follow the footsteps of people who were using our music and trying to create new ways to sing together. So that was very inspiring for us, no, to see everyone else doing it. I guess that's important.
Nice. So
but I think what helped was that we had an occasion to work toward. June is our anniversary, no. So we were saying nung mga April, you know what? Kung June nito, medyo mahirap-hirap after In Him Alone video, medyo mahirap-hirap pa lang gawin ito. Dapat ngayon pa lang, nagsisimula na tayo. So, we had a deadline that we were really approaching, and that really compelled us to work double time to produce so much work in the 2 months that we had.
Okay, so maybe as part of the question of what you guys are doing now, it's a challenge enough to do recordings virtually. I think it's even harder to do like duets. But how do you get to manage, like, say, putting together 59 voices from different locations around the world for a recording? How's that been for you?
Brute force. No. I wish we knew then what we know now eh. Kasi
Okay.
at first talaga, di ba, Candice, brute force.
Yeah,
But I guess
think,
what
go ahead.
helps, and you can build on this, no, is to begin with, we do have a strong online community amongst ourselves. So we do have like may kanya-kanyang voice groups yan that are all, they all chat with each other quite regularly. And so, for example, if someone makes a decision to, let's say, produce one video, that news spreads quite quickly around the world to all our members.
Okay.
But to add to that, Candice and Ali.
Yeah, for me, yung technicality lang, when we began, kasi nga it was really new, parang it took more time for us to master ano ba yung tamang setting, ano ba tamang instructions na ibigay para sa lahat. At that time, dahil nga parang it was so new, sabi lang namin, basta mag-record kayo ng video. Tapos, dapat tahimik, ganyan. Pero wala pang masyadong, parang later on, as many other choirs did this, marami na rin nagtitips na, dapat yata mas maganda kung audio muna. So maraming mga nangyari na ngayon, at least, parang we're learning from that experience. So, mas nagiging refined yung recording. Tas yung mga, kumbaga, mga hindi masyado tech-savvy na mga members namin, ngayon, marunong na rin. Bumibili na ng ring light. May mga magagandang microphones na or alam na nila na mas maganda sa closet, na maraming damit, yung ganon, to absorb the sound. So, technically wise lang. Parang it is more possible kasi nga, we have more tips to learn from.
Nice. Actually, one very nice video that you did recently, just because my family is like, we're virtual parishioners of the Ateneo LS community. So we attend Mass every Sunday there regularly. And one video that you guys did that really, really struck a chord with us was the recording of a medley of the Prayer of Generosity and another song. It just slips my mind right now. But the spin was really, instead of you guys doing the songs, it was the kids of Bukas Palad. So that for me was like something that was very special. I mean, I haven't seen anything like that before. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but how did you guys come up with a concept like that?
Surprise ko din lang yan kay Norman, actually. Kasi nga, leading up to the 34th anniversary, parang I was creating these videos. Tapos parang while I was creating them, kahit mga Tagalog songs like Pag-aalaala, narinig ko si Kevin and Nina, my kids, would sing along. Tapos alam na nila yung In Him Alone. Kasi nga paulit-ulit mong pinapakinggan pag nag-edit ako. Tapos maya-maya nakikita ko si Nina gumagawa ng homework, pero kumakanta siya ng I Will Sing Forever. Na parang, parang ang gandang experience na nakikita ko yung anak ko na kumakanta ng songs. So sabi ko, so again, I invited a few people. Sabi ko lang, mostly yung mga parents na yung naglalagay sa Facebook ng kanilang musically talented kids. I invited them first. And then lumaki, more Bukas Palad members who have kids who we never hear from, all of a sudden said, uy, sali kami, ganyan. So, ganun na yun. Parang na-inspire lahat. Tapos, naging magandang bonding moment rin for BP parents to sing with their kids. And so, yun. Parang, ano namin yun, parang tribute namin sa mga founders ng Bukas Palad to see the effect of Bukas Palad music in our own homes. And we wanted them to show them our appreciation. So, yun, parang ni-launch lang namin within the group and then lumabas siya. So, yun din. I'm glad you said na na-inspired din kayo. That was really
Yeah, yeah, that was very nice. I mean, because I have kids of my own, although they're not like really singers at this point, but it was something that was really special for us. Now, siguro we could talk about a little bit about the future for Bukas Palad. I know there's definitely a lot of uncertainty right now. A lot of things have changed because of COVID-19. So maybe if is it possible for us to talk about like what is the future like for Bukas Palad and what are you doing now to build that future for the group?
Oh, I have a very interesting answer to that. No, for many, no, actually many years, not just for this era. No, para it's very often the same people who do a lot of the work, and there's been a challenge in getting people to, diba, to train, to step up. Somehow, suddenly, that has become a lot easier because of the lockdowns, because of the pandemic, because everyone is, diba, very very aware that we have to create great effort to connect with each other, great effort to sustain things. No, I fell asleep after dinner just before this interview, and I had scheduled a meeting with the marketing committee. And tuwan-tuwa ako kasi when I woke up, tapos na yung meeting, naka-document na, alam na nila gagawin, hindi ko na kailangan makipag-usap. And that's rare. Norma knows that's rare, not just for Bukas Palad, it's particularly rare for me. Uh, a lot of people na sanay siguro na diba, to take instruction better, but I'm finding it easier to, diba, to trust other people with the work and to find the hands that help things getting done. In terms of the technique kasi, in terms of the technology, we're all learning. No? None of this is what we learned. None of this is what we prepared to do. No, but I think that the spirit of the community, that's carrying us forward. Parang the understanding of why we're doing what we're doing, it's clearer now than ever, and it's carrying people forward. So to look forward to, no, we will be creating a lot more covers involving a lot more members of Paspala. That's one. And crossing our fingers, suntok sa buwan, no? We'll have a weekly show coming soon.
Nice.
So yan yung mga in the end, like I said, no, hindi ko to ma-launch. I couldn't even find time to write up inviting people to help. But, di ba? Now there's a production plan, and di ba? I slept through it. That's so that's such a blessing. Ganyan ang Bukas Palad naman. I think even in the past it's happened. Saluhan talaga.
Okay. So this is a question for Norman as one of the founders of Bukas Palad. Where do you see yourself taking the organization um, in the days, months, years to come?
Well, sige, umpisa natin sa months to come. Yeah. Well, certainly it feels like we're going to be quarantined for a longer time, or at least we will not have as much opportunity to be singing as a group as we used to before. So there has to be some form of shift or pivot. And fortunately, and again, partly because of our anniversary, napabilis yung pag-shift na yun. So we've been equipping ourselves with tools to be able to produce content online. But that's only one part of the ministry. I think what we need to eventually develop or arm ourselves with in the coming months is to be able to engage our regular audience more deeply. Kasi before the pandemic, marami kami mga workshops. No? We would help train choirs and help them understand their roles as music ministers. May ganong effort no? So ngayon, while we're working from home, we've been able to conquer the problem of how do we develop new songs, new arrangements, and we're doing that now. But we've not yet, and we're going there eventually, starting with the weekly radio programs, finding ways to get more intimate despite the barrier of not physically seeing each other, how to be able to engage the various communities, the various other choirs whom we would like to deal with, whom we would like to strike dialogues with. Yon, so that's what I'm looking toward in the next few months. We've already, actually, even before the pandemic, we've already been mounting online recollections. That will progress. That will intensify. No? But apart from the recollections and online concerts, workshops, even songwriting seminars, perhaps, that we can conduct online as well.
Nice, nice. Thank you for sharing those plans for the future, Ali and Norman. So just to stitch things together, what you're doing now and how you're planning the future. The last question is basically, what are some of the things that you will need to forget or unlearn or even upgrade from? You touched a bit on in terms of upgrading your technical skills when it comes to producing these online videos. So maybe we could talk about that as we wrap up this interview.
For me, parang I think there is an acceptance already that this is gonna be a long thing going. This is gonna be our normal, and I think yun nga, looking for ways to connect with the communities that we serve is a thing that we need to prioritize. Kasi nga, there's always that yearning for people to hear more music and to share with each other. Parang, how are you coping and all that. Parang every day, the pandemic, parang you feel so positive one day and then another day, parang, oh, parang it's such a dragging feeling. And I think maganda talaga na there's that dialogue and there's always that connection with other people who have the same passion in singing and in serving the Lord. So I think one thing that kumbaga we forget or unlearn or at least have that acceptance that this is gonna be what we're gonna be doing for the next couple, I don't know, years to come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Akin naman, I think it's two things. No? The first is, well, this is very Ateneo. Diba? The term magis kasi has been understood for many years as being achievement. Recently, even the Jesuits are saying this, that's not really what magis means. No, magis really means, yes, more, but the more loving, the more serving choice, no, more for Christ. So sabi nga, ngayon this is a good time because to remind us that sometimes we're not able to do what we want to do or what we aim for. And the excellence is in just showing up, no, and being where you're needed, and doing what you can for the time being. And I guess that there's that invitation to that sort of faithfulness, just the everyday doing of things. May forgetting it kasi sometimes in the quest for doing things maybe professionally, maybe doing things excellently, we lose sight of that. The second thing is related to that. No? We're always told naman that authenticity is very engaging and that people latch onto and are attracted by things which are authentic, which are not too polished, which are not made up. Pero pag nandun ka na, gusto mo pa rin magmaganda. So now, being forced not to be unpolished, not having equipment, not having things on our side, we are realizing that for real, no? And we are seeing also, not that it's a compromise, no? We're seeing the beauty of doing things raw, of doing things real also. And Candice was saying the first few, ako na magsasabi kasi the first few tracks that she added to the first song, parang, ang pangit naman ito, pero pag dumadami, nagtutunog Bukas Palad. And
Oo, ang galing.
Diba?
Power in number.
But that's such a beautiful image of what happens when we're together and what does happen online. And we're experiencing it kahit sa online learning totoo yan. The first few times, ang pangit talaga, ang bagal talaga, ang gulo talaga. And then suddenly, you see that you're able to do things you were never able to do before. So there's a gift in that as well.
Okay, so maybe at this point, as we wrap up this session, would you like to invite those who are watching to listen more to Bukas Palad? If there's any upcoming event that you guys are mounting, so this would be a good opportunity to share that with everybody.
Well, I actually got the invitation. No one in Bukas Palad has heard yet. I just got it. We will be part of a major Marian concert actually in October. So there's one. or September, hindi pa fine. But around that time, there will be a major Marian concert by Jesuit Music Ministry. And Jesuit Music Ministry as well will be doing a very big Christmas celebration. These are big because I think there were, the day after their last concert, we had like 500,000 views. Parang the choirs gathering together is something important also for Bukas Palad. Something we learn from, something we value. So that's what. And then, well, may iba pang event. So si Norman will share. Kasi apart from the innovative things, we still do want to have some sense of, dapat may Christmas.
Yeah. So actually, we are already preparing, again, because alam na namin yung mga timelines na kailangang meron kami para makapag-produce ng maayos na videos at saka audio tracks. We are already actually beginning to create content for Advent and Christmas. Those are two separate sets of music, no? That we're going to dispatch or upload online eventually in time for Advent and Christmas. And what's good to look forward to about those is that we've realized that in our last set of online content that we produced, kailangan iba. Kasi I mean, there's already so much content that we've produced. So if, let us say, yung mga Advent and Christmas songs naman, tunog lang yung nasa Spotify na, or tunog na sa yung mga nasa past concerts namin, baliwala. So we've taken the time to rearrange the music, to give it a new spin, so that people will encounter us in a different way this time around. No? So do look forward to those two sets of music, but also you can check out again yung anniversary concert namin that's still online, as well as audio tracks that are available on Spotify as a result of that concert in last June. So the album is If I Could Touch You. That's available in Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, iTunes.
All right. So thank you very much again, Candice, Ali, and of course, Norman, for the time that you've shared with me and the rest of the viewers today. And we're just looking forward to so much more inspirational stuff coming from Bukas Palad in the days to come. And I hope all of your families will be safe and healthy. And we're all praying for a, quick resolution to everything that we're facing right now. So maraming salamat po.
Thank you,
so much.
Chris.
Thank you. Thank you again, Candice, Ali, and Norman from Bukas Palad for gracing the show this week. So do catch us again next week, every Wednesday, 12 noon, for more inspiring stories through this pandemic of how people are coping, how they are building their future now, and what are the things that they're forgetting, unlearning, and even upgrading for them to come up with innovations to secure their future. So that's a show. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you all to be safe and healthy. And I hope to see you again next week for another exciting episode of What's Your Flip. So until then, keep flipping. Bye.